In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make your photos look super delicious using only your iPhone. Let's picture this. You've found this fantastic ketogenic recipe on the internet and you're like, ooh, maybe I should try and make this. You go and make it and it looks fantastic and you're like, oh, you know, this recipe was fantastic. I've got to show this to my friends. I've got to put this on Instagram. I've got to share this. This is fantastic. You know, and what you do is you pull out your phone and you quickly take a photo of it and you're like, sweet, upload, awesome. You know, you send it to your friends or you put it on Instagram and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's really nice. Blah. It looks like yellow goop. What have they done to their food? I'm never making that recipe. I don't even care. I'm not saying that you in particular have bad photos. I'm saying that I'm going to show you how to make those photos look a little bit better. So when people make lists, it might be like 5 or 7 or 10 things to make your photos look better, and you look at the video and you're like, I can't remember any of those things because that person made 10 random statements and none of them really applied to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 3 things that will instantly up your photo game with your iPhone, and those 3 things you are going to be able to remember. So the first thing I want to cover is light. Really what people do is that they get their lovely looking blue plate and they put the food on this and they take a photo of it underneath their lovely yellow kitchen light. You're just like bam, 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 or like that overhead shot. Now that is not going to work. Not because of the lovely yellow kitchen light, but because of the blue plate, right? So it's going to detract from whatever you're putting on that plate. You know, it's just gonna look blue, right? So get rid of the blue plate. What I recommend you do is just get a white plate. Get something that looks pretty plain, pretty ordinary, and you know, it's just white. Or maybe you can even get one of these little plates from Kmart. I think this one cost me $1. Every time you take a photo of food, you take it on this plate, right? Not only is that going to give you consistency in your food photography, but it is going to make you look so much better. White plates are the way to go because it emphasizes the actual food that is on the plate. So the problem with that scenario is light, and it's not necessarily the type of light. Yes, yellow kitchen light can look pretty bad, but I'll show you how to fix that. But it is also the direction of the light, right? Generally in a kitchen, your light comes down from overhead and you take the photo with the plate right underneath the light. So that's one of the things that you probably want to avoid because when you have top-down light, there's no shadows on any of the sides of the food, so it's very hard to get a visual representation of the depth of field. The 2 lighting scenarios I want you to try and focus on is either from the side or from the back. So what I mean by that is that you have your plate of food here and you are taking the photo with the light coming from the side, or you are taking the photo with the light coming from the back. So you are taking the photo and the light is coming from the back. Now, how do you do that with a kitchen light? Well, all you have to do is if your light is coming down from here and you take your plate, you just want to shift it to the side. All that does is it creates the light from a 45-degree angle and you get your food that is bathed in light as opposed to just coming straight down on top of it. So that's one way, and a lot of photographers use the side lighting angle, and it looks fantastic. So the second one I want you to think about is backlighting. Now backlighting I really like because it gives that really visual sheen. It gives that like magazine sort of look to your food. With backlighting, you know, it's good to have a white background or a black background, or you know, whatever it is. If you have a white background, it will look sort of like white and dreamy and, you know, fantastic for any type of food situation. So how do you do that with a kitchen light? Well, again, if your light is coming from the top like this, all you have to do is move it to the side and then take your photo from the other side where the light is coming from. Instead of moving your plate to the side and taking it still from that angle, from straight on, you are going to turn around a 45-degree angle and you want the light coming from behind you. You want your food in between you and the light, and you want to take the photo from a 45-degree angle or whatever angle you want, and you want that backlighting. So those are the 3 lighting situations that are going to help you with your iPhone photography. So the second aspect to food photography is the angle that you take it from. So even if you are using your phone, even if you are using a proper camera, these principles still apply. So there's 3 different types of angles that is generally used in food photography, and I'll go through them one by one. So there is the top-down angle, and so you've probably seen someone with their phone and taking a top-down shot like that. So with your phone, to shoot overhead, all you have to do is open up your camera and switch it to the square mode and take a photo of it directly overhead. Some phones will actually help you, stabilize and make sure it's completely horizontal, and so that you can get a really good straight downward shot. That helps a lot. Otherwise, what you want to do is you want to set it to portrait mode and just take a 45-degree angle of whatever you're trying to take a photo of. So top down works really well for pizzas, for something that has a few different plates, and generally a square crop works best for that as well. So you think Instagram, think any type of square crop, and a top-down shot works really, really well for that. The second angle you want is a 45-degree angle. Now, the 45-degree angle basically means that you have your food here and you are taking a photo from that particular angle, right? And so what that is useful for is that if you have a particular item of food that you're trying to highlight and you want to get that in the shot before the rest of the food, that is the best angle to take that from. If you've made a keto smoothie and you've made 2 of them, one for your husband, one for yourself, or one for the kids, or whatever it is, you take that first smoothie and you put it in front, and you take the second one and you slightly offset it, and you take that from a 45-degree angle. So that's the second angle. A really helpful tip when you're taking a 45-degree angle shot with cutlery is that make sure that the cutlery is still in the shot when you take the photo. If it's not in the shot, then you can't decide whether you want to keep it in or leave it out afterwards. And I get this all the time. I try and take a photo of something and I cut out half of the fork and I put it on the computer, or I look at it on my phone and I'm like, what was I thinking? There's half a fork in this photo. That looks silly. It's not because it looks silly, and obviously you're trying to direct your focus to the food, but it sort of leaves like a little bit of emptiness in the photo. So try and include all of the cutlery that is in the shot into the photo. If it's half in the shot, just get rid of it. Doesn't matter. The other thing as well is that if you have any type of old cutlery that's hanging around in your house, include that in the shot because that looks fantastic. Old cutlery looks really, really good because what happens with new cutlery is it gets really shiny and it gets these really crazy highlights on it. It can direct the viewer away from the food to looking at your really shiny spoon. Now, we're in food photography, so we're not trying to emphasize shiny spoons. So get something that's really dull. I don't know, put some flour on it or something. That might help. The third angle is from straight on. So as your eye would see it, the food is here and you are trying to take the photo straight on. So this works really well if you're trying to highlight something that has a little bit of height or depth in the food. So think cookies. Those types of foods are best shot straight on because you can see that there is either multiple of the same thing or you're trying to emphasize layers. Anything with layers helps with that kind of shot. If you're trying to shoot straight on, I suggest getting really, really close to the food. So for instance, if you're trying to take a photo of pancakes, you want to try and get quite close to that shot and you want to try and get pretty dead straight on with that photo. So what you're trying to do is, what I was trying to do is I was trying to pour maple syrup over the pancakes and I was trying to show that the drizzle on the maple syrup was going over the pancakes. So with iPhones, you can either zoom in or you can get really close, and it's best to actually get close because then you have a higher resolution shot of that particular situation on your phone. So the third item to making your iPhone food photography look really, really good is that you need to understand what the hero of the shot is. So what does a hero of the shot mean? Does it mean that Superman flies in, takes your burger and keeps flying away? Not really. The hero of the shot basically means the highlight of whatever it is that you're trying to shoot. So think about pancakes. If you're trying to shoot pancakes, maybe it's that the maple syrup is dribbling down the side of the pancakes. You know, maybe it's that, maybe if you're taking a shot of a cookie, maybe it's that cookie being broken open. Maybe you're trying to take a photo of some yogurt that you've made and you can get a spoon and show how deliciously thick that yogurt is. That's sort of what I'm talking about when it comes to a hero shot. So there's 3 different types of heroes that you can try and see what might work for the food that you're trying to take a photo of. Number 1 is trying to think of something that gets added to the food. So if you have pancakes, think about the maple syrup dribble down the side. If you're trying to take a photo of a salad, maybe it's that you've got a juicy lemon and you're trying to squeeze that juicy lemon over the salad. So that's sort of what I mean by an additional item to the food. The second hero element that I'm talking about is a human element. So what do I mean by a human element? Well, if you're trying to take, let's go back to the pancakes. If you're trying to take a photo of the pancakes, maybe that you've reached in with a fork and you've got a piece of the pancake and you've got that fork up. If you're trying to reach in and grab something, or you know, if you've got a spoonful of something, all of those scenarios would be what's called a human interaction or a human element to the food. The third type of hero shot that you could be looking for, any aspect of the food that is already there that just needs highlighting. So maybe you're trying to take a photo of some strawberries on top of your keto granola or something, and those strawberries are super fresh and they've still got a little bit of water droplets on the outside. You want to try and highlight that. You want to try and highlight how fresh those strawberries are, right? So think fresh, think tasty, think soft, think cheesy, think any of those kinds of adjectives and try and emulate that in the photo. That is going to make your iPhone photography and even just your everyday photography so much better. So let me show you a few photos that I took, and I'll show you how to edit them right on your phone so you can upload them straight to Instagram or straight to Facebook, share them with your friends, and they are going to look fantastic. So I'm going to show you how I edited one of my pancake photos that I took just before, and you know, it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty good for an iPhone shot. So I'm going to jump over to my phone and I'm going to show you exactly how I would edit a photo that I've taken from one of those different types of angles. So I took a photo of some pancakes and I drizzled some cream and I drizzled some maple syrup over the top. So I'm going to show you exactly how I would edit them before I would upload them to Facebook or Instagram. So I'll go into an application called Snapspeed and I'm going to open a new photo. So I'm going to have a look at the different types of photos that I took, right? And I know that, you know, I was trying to go for a straight on shot and I was trying to include the maple syrup drizzle that comes from, comes from pouring maple syrup onto the pancakes. So what I was using is I was trying to use a straight on angle and I was trying to include the drizzle from the actual maple syrup onto the pancakes. So I'm going to open up this photo here, and this is directly straight out of my camera on the phone. So you can see that I've accidentally cropped out the fork in my photo, but what happens is that because it's not super pronounced in the photo, I think it's going to be okay. But generally what you would try and do is try and keep that fork in the photo, because now all I can see is a cut off fork in the photo, right? So I'm going to go into Tools and I'm going to go into Tune Image. Now you just scroll down with your finger and I'm going to increase the brightness of it a little bit. You always want to increase the brightness and the contrast a little bit from your phone camera, because I feel like those are slightly lacking in the iPhone photography, in the iPhone camera. You want to go into saturation as well. If it's something that you know that you could saturate the colors a little bit more, then definitely head over and saturate that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm just going to hit OK. And then I'm going to come into Tools and I'm going to click on White Balance. Now white balance is really important for iPhone photography and photography in general, because what happens is that underneath the kitchen light, which is super yellow, you are going to have strange colors that come from that light. And you can try and you can actually reverse some of that damage by just using the white balance. So if you have something in your photo that you know is white, so like a white kitchen bench or you know, some white cream or that's generally pretty white, all you have to do is select this little pen icon down the bottom and make sure that you select a part of the photo that you know is white. So I know my kitchen bench is pretty much white. So I'm gonna select that. That is going to be my white balance, and that looks pretty good. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down and I'm going to crop this photo. So because there's quite a little bit of black up the top, I'm going to see if I can get rid of that. And I'm going to keep it on a square crop. And I'm just gonna hit OK on that because that looks pretty good to me. So what I've done is I've removed the black from the photo and I've kept that drizzle coming down onto the pancakes like that. So I'm gonna go into tools again and I'm going to do some lens blurring. So what happens in food photography is that DSLRs or mirrorless cameras can actually get a very, very low aperture, and what that means is that whatever you've got in focus is super in focus and the background is very blurred. So you can actually simulate that on your phone, which is fantastic, by just selecting, you know, where you want your hero to be. So what is the hero of the shot? You want to make sure that that blue dot is in the center, and you just want to make that a little bit bigger because I know that that stream is coming down from the pancakes, and I sort of want to keep that in focus as well, but everything else can be blurred, I don't mind. So you can just hold down and you can do the blur strength, and you can see that you can make that even more pronounced. And what that does is it draws your eye to the stream of maple syrup, and it sort of blurs everything else out in the background, and that helps to emphasize the hero in the shot. And I think that's all I need to do, so I'm just going to select OK on that. And that's fantastic. That would be you know, able to be uploaded to Instagram. And in fact, I'm probably just gonna upload that to my Instagram right now. And so what you do is you go export and then you go save as a copy. So you keep the original photo and then you have also saved a copy of it as well. And that just goes straight to your photos section in your camera and you are ready to upload that. So I hope some of the tips inside this video have really helped you, and you know, you can actually go and apply these to your food photography right now. You can actually pick up your iPhone, you can pick up your smartphone, Android, whatever it is, and go into your kitchen and know that you can actually take a really, really good photo and you can share it with your friends because food is best shared, right? If you're interested in seeing more videos like this one, where I teach you how to up your game with food photography or anything photography related, please let me know by commenting below. And if you really like the type of videos that I create, make sure you hit subscribe below. And you know, it helps me create more videos exactly like this one to help you out. I really enjoy helping you out and teaching you all of these cool, nifty things that, you know, are in the world of the ketogenic food. So let me know, comment below, and I will see you in the next video.